We're at Binga airstrip. After arriving by air, road, or by boat on the river Zambezi, our visitors have many places to go to. Let me take you there.
Binga is a developing tourist destination that is still hidden from most of the world. It is a hidden treasure. Binga is situated along the Zambezi River, also known as Lake Kariba. At its creation in the late 1950s, the expanding water body displaced the Watonga people from the banks of the river. Today, the vast water body of the Zambezi has become a major tourist attraction in Zimbabwe. Binga has its own fair share of tourists, especially from South Africa, the United States of America and Europe. The influx of tourists in Binga has necessitated the development of 5-star accommodation along the Zambezi River. The accommodation is luxurious and affordable, with a mixture of cultural designs and state-of-the-art modern fittings. To many outsiders, the misconception is that Binga is a backward and primitive district. But the hospitality industry in Binga says a different story.
The bling and luxury. That's the story of the hospitality industry in Binga.
Such a beautiful place. One would think for in a big city.
Yeah, you can actually say that again. We trying our best, like for Binga, so we can try to at least give a name to Binga.
Okay, yeah. I'm wondering about Binga. What exactly can we say about Binga?
Binga, we have a lot to say about Binga.
Yes.
Natural resources are in Binga, which we can't even talk about the whole country. Like for instance, I can say we can talk about Sand Beach. Sand Beach in Zimbabwe.
Wow.
So it marks how special Binga is, and it's also a center of attraction for tourists that they can come and enjoy. Just the local ones, like people coming from Harare. There's no sand beach anywhere else in Zimbabwe, but they can come to Binga.
So in Binga, we only have the sand beach, or we have other.
No, the mighty Zambezi. We're talking about the mighty Zambezi. It flows through Binga, and we also have Hotsprings, the ever-boiling water. It spouts out throughout the year. We don't know how many years. We found it that our ancestors, they left it for us. I'm so proud about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm from Murewa. I've known Binga since 2002, where we did the development work. That's when I discovered this place, and ever since then, we fell in love with it because it's such a place where you meet things that you never expected in life. Many people thought of Victoria Falls, many people thought of Kariba, but when we discovered this place because of its peace, tranquility, and the way it is located, we fell in love with it. Binga presents a very important opportunity, especially for tourism, because it is unpolluted, it is undiluted. Many people, of course, have many misconceptions and misperceptions about this place. as they think that it is backward, they think it is uncivilized, and all kinds of mythical stories are said about this place. But to the contrary, it is one giant town that is coming up, and definitely within less than 10 years from now, it will compete without doubt with Victoria Falls and Kariba.
Vanhu vese vasati vambosvika kubinga ngavauye vazoona nzvimbo ineyi. Inzvimbo inonakidza, ine mvura yakanaka. Vanhu vachona vaigubhira kuti vanonzwisisa, vasambovhundudzirwa kuti kunobinga kune vanhu vamweni vanoti kwete hazvisiri izvo. Kune toone vanhu vakangofananawo nesu vemuZimbabwe. Saka uyai kuno muzogara munzvimbo dzakaita fanaka panapa.
Binga district is within Zimbabwe, but it's in this is our Zimbabwean map, as you can see. And then Binga district is situated right next to the Zambezi, the mighty Zambezi River. And this is our district map. We have 25 wards in Binga district. We are open for business in Binga, as we have 3 national parks within the district where we have a lot of animals, which you can actually come and have a look at, because they are all looked after by the traditional leadership as well as the community. And we have international hotels where you can actually come and stay in.
We actually say Binga is a tourism destination of the future. We lie at the middle of Kariba and Victoria Falls. We've got houseboats which are actually plying the lake and are based in Binga. We have the Arctic safaris, which can also be undertaken.
Here in Binga we have a vast variety of wildlife, which includes elephants, lions, buffaloes, antelopes, hippos, hyenas, a lot of them.
We also have the famous King of Bemula caves in Pashu, where oral history says that that was his last place to reside in.
You can actually come to Pashu and find it within Binga district, where King Lopemula actually ended with his crew when he actually had won the battle in Pupu in Lopani. And that was his last port of call. We would want you to come to Binga to visit for yourself, but what we are only saying is that we are very rich in culture. We value our culture.
So in terms of tourist attractions, these are some of the areas which I can easily point out.
The Zambezi River may be a source of livelihood and a symbol of religion, but it is also a source of entertainment.
Yo, sleek, yo. Yo, sleek, yo, sleek.
A variety of boats are available for entertainment and transportation. Speedboats for that adrenaline thrill. There are rafters for cruising. But for those who love water but are not brave enough to play in the Zambezi River, there are various alternatives. A swimming pool by the lakeside.
After a cruise in the lake or a game drive in the safaris, it's important that one sits down and relaxes and be one with nature. And you can find all this in Binga.
Apart from the accommodation beside the lake, Binga is accommodation on the lake. The houseboats in Binga are floating hotels on the river Zambezi. For those who may feel a little seasickness, alternative accommodation is readily available on the shores of the lake. The lodges and hotels in Binga are situated along the Lake Kariba, giving that daily fresh breeze from the lake. The scenic view of the lake greets the residents every morning. Mother Nature has the power to please, to comfort, to calm, and to nurture one's soul. While the lodges and hotels in Mbinga are surrounded by nature, the interiors are modern and comfortable. A combination of comfortable modern fittings and nature provides that atmosphere of serenity, peace, and tranquility. This state of calm attracts many visitors who wish to spend quality time far from the madding crowd.
The Mbinga district. It's not a very well-known part of Zimbabwe, but it is one of the most beautiful areas. It is a privilege to wake up here in the morning, look out over the water, the peace, the quiet. For big city people, it may not be their nice plate of cup of tea and cake, but once they come here, I am sure they will come back to get away from the hustle, the bustle, cell phones, although you can have them if you want to, but is a place for rest and peace and quiet. It's a wonderful place.
There are a variety of chalets found on the lodges in Mbinga. Some have rooms for couples. Or others have rooms for families. Some even have rooms for groups of people traveling together. Most of these accommodation facilities have self-catering services providing that home feeling.
Wow, the whole of Mbinga district is out of this world. I've been all over the world and this is the best place you could ever come to. It's peaceful, we have got no problems here at all.
Besides the adequate utilities found in the rooms in Mbinga, another valuable component found are the numerous cultural decorations. The story of Mbinga is told through various artifacts and pictures displayed. The tiger fish is usually displayed as a trophy. This fish species is mainly the sport target during angling competitions. The catfish is another symbolic fish that has cultural connotations in traditional Tonga folklore.
Wanonga maswana na musimbo yomwakwera oti kutakwe mungusu na kuti mundolo hayi wanonga kupusuka musimbo kinkala ko balombeta bali bali kulya ibabondo penkambo bali kuti mulombe ulya mubondo akutizya musimbi uyo yululewa akapuzuwe amusimbi ngenzi laziyako kwatana ezitwalazo
Every picture on the wall, every piece of painting, even a stuffed foot of an elephant has its own unique story to tell.
Ali, so what is this?
These are real elephant feet. This here is the natural elephant hide. You can feel the hair on it.
Yeah, I can feel the hair.
And these is his toenails. If you feel underneath, they've been worn.
Yeah.
And what we're sitting on is the tanned elephant hide.
Oh.
It's also elephant hide, but it's been tanned. This is the natural, and this is the tanned.
Oh, this is beautiful.
The accommodation at lodges in Mbinga is luxurious and affordable. Many other services of amusement are found in Mbinga.
But mainly it's for accommodation and for people to feel comfortable and be at home.
No, it's beautiful. I feel the comfort.
Please.
It's very comfortable. It's a bliss.
Wow, you can see now.
In Mbinga, good conference facilities are found overlooking the Zambezi River.
We start from the meetings. We actually hold conferences for the working people where they can have the workshops, the trainings with the NGO, and we Mainly it's about accommodation, and we make sure someone wakes up with a fresh breakfast in the morning, and then we do small lunches as well and the dinners.
Full bar and catering services are available for those who enjoy a drink but dislike cooking. But when one is tired of modern food, Tonga traditional food is readily available in surrounding communities. While Binga has very luxurious hotels that offer state-of-the-art facilities, the most part of the district is rural, wild, and untamed, with traditional Tonga accommodation. Rural Binga offers an opportunity for cultural tourism to many visitors, and an opportunity to experience the true way of the Watonga life.
There is no substitute to hard work. The things we work hardest for always give the best results.
Pounding using mortar and pestle is a practice the Watonga people developed even before displacement from the banks of the Zambezi River. In Binga, this process of preparing a traditional meal has always been done by women. Preparing a traditional Tonga dish is one of the activities a visitor can participate in. After pounding, the women use traditional Tonga baskets to winnow the millet. The winnowed millet is then washed using water. After rinsing, the water is drained from the millet. The process is repeated twice or thrice. After the women are satisfied that the millet is now clean, the wet millet is put in a dish as excess water is continuously drained. The women make sure they drain as much water as possible. The millet is then transferred to a Tonga basket where it is nicely spread. This is to ensure that the millet dries fast before the next process. The millet is dried in the sun. The first part of the task is done. A bit of starch-filled water for the fowls. While the millet dries in the sun, the women look for some vegetables either in the garden or in the bush. This offers a visitor a chance to learn about the traditional leaves eaten by the Watonga people.
Mwana ndungu ndutulia ni twakasyali kwa mkuti muntu akakede ndutulia abobola ndungo ndulula abana aba
tu luganko byanaga
na twaga ngani imeni usiga mvula mu December to yabuganka tyabuganka nuni lwayanda lwamenanze lwasyala bana tulachara akishu tulabikabana akishu mwati twajira
bana mbemba
babo
ani banene zimi izi nzitulia kuchitonga zezili
ndati guli bobola guli chishungwa guli bonko guli tende nzitulia ezyo.
Historically, the Watonga people were hunter-gatherers besides being stream bank farmers on the riverbanks of the Zambezi River. Up to this day, the Watonga people still supplement their diet with naturally found vegetables, fruits and roots.
In the cosmology of the Tonga people, life and nature are intricately related to the extent that we cannot have life without nature and we cannot have nature without life. For that reason, we find that the culture of the Tonga people reflects and it demonstrates that the Tonga people had a philosophy that understood their relationship with nature. This is well reflected in their traditional food. Many people would talk of wild fruits or wild food, referring to Tonga food or Tonga traditional food if you want. But then for the Tonga people, this is not wild as we describe it. And I think such language can be attributed to early settlers who came to Africa or to Zimbabwe particularly. The Tonga people have never departed from using or from consuming traditional foods. And one interesting thing about these traditional foods is that they are not just food. In most cases, these foods have medicinal properties. So you find that they are almost like multi-purpose. They have various purposes that they serve in the lives of the Tonga people. This traditional food has contributed a lot to the general long lifespan of the Tonga people. If you go to Binga or areas like Nyami district or Kariba, Wange, you will find that generally people have a long lifespan. And for me, this can be attributed to their traditional food, because I think you would know that today in Africa, there is this modern or fashionable mantra that we Africans must go back to their traditional food. Because these traditional foods are highly nutritious as opposed to the processed foods that we find in modern world.
The Watonga, like most African tribes, rear domestic animals and birds that provide meat, milk and eggs to supplement their diet. But usually the goats and chickens are slaughtered when there is an important visitor or on special occasions.
From the toils of our labor, a good meal will be served.
Another interesting aspect of the Tonga culture that a visitor can learn is the aspect of communal communities. But Tonga have managed to keep closely knit extended family structures intact. Different households within a single homestead prepare different dishes.
The cooking is done. Now it's time to serve the men. But the other homestead have slaughtered a chicken. Such unfair advantage. But I know my vegetables have been well cooked and the men will love them more. What is chicken anyway?
In a typical Watonga home, competition among women is a common scenario.
Tonga people are communal communities. So whenever traditional food is served, we have maybe a homestead that has a number of families, and these families bring together their food for the consumption of family members. And you find that different households would bring different foods, different traditional foods, and this contributes a lot to a balanced diet.
Okay. After experiencing the traditional Tonga life in the surrounding rural communities, one can take a trip to the nearby fishing camps, where the abundant fish are prepared using various methods, including a simple barbecue over an open fire.
The fish is ready, nice and crispy. So well tasted. Very, very delicious.
The trip back to the lodges and modernization is just a few minutes drive.
So when you come to Binga, there is a lot of accommodation which you can actually come in and have proper accommodation and proper meals. We are very rich in culture, the language, the food, as well as our cultural dances. We have simple meals which are actually healthier than these other modern meals. They've got a lot of side effects. So what we're talking about when we're talking about good meals are meals which are actually grown from within Binga district.
all that solid food in Binga. It's time for something softer as we end our day. My name is Aldrina Mdenda. Join us in the next episode. Palumba.